Hey guys, welcome. Now, it wasn't until I did my first long journey drive that I started appreciating, drivers that do long journeys, the commercial drivers. Trust me, it is not as easy as you see it. Now, let me know in the comment section if you've done a long journey drive before and how it went. By long journey drives, I'm talking about interregional journeys, like maybe you're doing Accra Cape Coast, Accra Kumasi, Accra Pram, maybe you're going to Akosombo, those types of long journeys. These are a few things I learned on my journey and I would like to share with you. Now, before we go into that, let me drop in this ad. The best decision I ever made this year was to start Forex trading. It's a very lucrative endeavor, and I would like to admonish you to literally start doing Forex trading. Trust me, a lot of people have been gatekeeping this. You see some guys, Charlie, they tell you they are doing some online moves here and there and they are making good money at the end of the day. Some of them won't tell you. Most of them are actually doing Forex trading. And people are making thousands of Ghana cedis and they are buying cars and they are buying lands. You need as little as just $100, which is basically equivalent to about 1,100 cedis to start, and then you are good to go. Comment how in the comment section and let me link you up. Now let's continue. Now, before you do a long journey drive, first of all, you need to consider your driving capacity. Driving capacity has to do with how long you can drive and still maintain the same quality of driving. When you start learning how to drive, usually it builds up little by little. So maybe your first drive, maybe 30 minutes might seem like a long period for you because you are not used to just sitting down and just, moving your hands and legs throughout a certain period. But with time, it grows. So maybe your first 30 minutes might seem like a headache before you realize you are used to 30 minutes. Then maybe you move to 40 minutes, then 50 minutes. Maybe your first time driving continuously for 1 hour, you are tired, but then it gets to a point where you are used to it. When it comes to living in Accra and it's also Kumasi, most of the time when you close from work, you have to drive long hours in traffic before you get to your destination. Now, maybe within your first maybe few weeks, it might be like a tiring thing, but it gets to a point where your body gets used to it because you are used to being on the road for that long. Now, no matter how long you are able to drive, it is advised that you don't drive continuously for more than 4 hours without taking a break. This is one of the road traffic regulations. It's not a law, it is just something to help you, still drive and still maintain the same quality of driving. It has nothing to do with experience but circulation. Even if you are an office worker, you are someone who always sits to work, it's not even advisable you sit continuously throughout the day. Occasionally, you need to get up, walk, sit down, stretch your body a little. All this is to enhance circulation so that blood can flow through your brain and you can still concentrate and make good decisions while driving. So remember, don't drive continuously for more than 4 hours without taking a break. And after 4 hours, you need to rest for at least 30 minutes before you continue your journey. Keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to your driving capacity, before you go on your journey, right? You can just check on Google Map how long it will take you to get there. So let's say you are going to somewhere like maybe Akosombo, which will take you maybe roughly 2 hours to get there. You make sure whatever time that you see on Google Map, it is within your driving, capacity. Because if you've never done a long journey drive that long before, you are just going to frustrate and stress yourself on the journey. And mind you, if you're alone, there's literally no way out. You still have to force and get to your destination. And if you are not in the right state of mind, you could end up messing up and causing an accident. So make sure it is within your driving capacity. And if it is beyond it, make sure that you can decide to go with someone who can also, you know, take over at a point when you are tired. But if you're going to go alone, then just be prepared and then take as many breaks as you need before you get to your destination. Number two, your vehicle is very important. Not every vehicle is built for long journeys. So you have maybe like Toyota Passo, you have Daewoo you have Chevrolet Spark, you have Suzuki Alto, you have Kia Morning, Hyundai i10s. These cars are not built for long journey drives. When you push them, maybe if the engine is fresh and you push it maybe the first time or second time or third time, it might go and come all right, but you are weakening the engine and the engine will not last very long. Such vehicles are not meant for long journeys. So if you are going to go on a long journey and you are going to drive yourself, please don't go with such vehicles. Get vehicles with a much bigger engine, depending on how far the distance is. Before you also go on that journey, make sure you take your vehicle to the mechanic. They check and make sure everything is intact. Just tell your mechanic that, okay, you're going on this long journey drive, and therefore you want them to check everything and make sure everything is in order, and let them fix anything they need to fix before you go. You wouldn't want to get stranded on a long journey drive, especially for a destination you have never been before. So be mindful of this. If it is a road you are familiar with as a passenger, then you can prepare for any anticipated danger. But if it is a road you are not very familiar with, even as a passenger, you can also ask those who have used the road to give you some maybe tips or things to prepare for whilst driving on that road. Recently, I traveled to Cape Coast with my wife, and I realized the Accra Cape Coast Road is under construction. So at a point, you are going to go, I mean, tens of kilometers on a rough road, and the journey will be very bumpy. It will be in your best interest to go with a four-wheel drive or bus on such a road. If you're having a very small car, like maybe Toyota Vitz or any of these saloon cars, I mean, your shocks are going to really be shaking. So you can be mindful of this anytime you want to travel. Now, when it comes to eating, please don't eat a very heavy meal before you start such a journey. At a point in time, it can make you dull and your concentration is going to go down. You are going to feel a bit sluggish. And mind you, for such long journeys, you need your mind to be sharp. So don't go and eat a heavy bowl of fufu or banku or wache. No, it will be better you be taking stuff that you can be munching on from time to time just to keep yourself active. Some people chew gum to help them. Some people listen to radio programs to help them. With the food, especially like I said, you can take stuff that you can be munching on from time to time, but make sure you don't start with a heavy meal on that journey. If the journey is very long, you can leave early and make use of the daylight. Remember, make hay while the sun shines. Now, yes, if it's a place you are not very familiar with, I'll suggest you leave very early so that you make good use of the daylight. So that just in case your car breaks down or you run into any trouble, you can use the daylight to your advantage. You wouldn't want to get stranded in the middle of the night somewhere you stand the risk of getting robbed or mugged or something. So please make use of the daylight. Unless, of course, you are confident in yourself and you know the road is perfectly safe as you are driving. I mentioned knowing the road very well and planning for anticipated danger. Now, for roads that you don't really know, like I said, when I was going to Cape Coast, for instance, Charlie, there were some wicked potholes on the road there. And if you are over speeding and you are not lucky, you fall into this pothole, you can burst your tire, you can lose control and cause an accident. So please, with your speed, you need to be very careful. Don't overspeed unnecessarily. I know you are in a hurry to get to your destination and it's a long journey. That is why I'm giving you all these tips so that you prepare and prepare well. Don't think long journeys are long journeys. Don't think you can just apply the accelerator for 10 minutes and you are there. It doesn't work like that. So you need to prepare yourself mentally for that journey. It is not for everyone. So if driving for long periods stresses you, you can go with someone who can equally drive so that sometimes you can switch over till you get to your destination. I spoke about speed earlier. It wasn't until I did this long journey that I realized that policemen in Ghana, those under the MTT, they have speed guns. I remember on our journey, there was a time a sports car just came to bypass us at a very high speed. And at that time, I was just relaxed, taking my time to drive. And then it got to a point where on a very straight road, I saw this, it was like a figure standing there in a white uniform. I almost thought it was an angel. Like I was squinting my eyes to check who it was and what it was. All I realized was there was this figure standing there with this machine, and they were trying to sort of like read something off it. As I got closer, I realized it was a police officer, and they read the speed at which I was moving, and they realized, okay, I was reading the speed limit and allowed me to go. The sports car that came to bypass us was stopped, and for obvious reasons, he was overspeeding. And I was like, oh wow, I really dodged a bullet there. So yes, when you are doing those long journeys, I mean, because you feel like it's in the middle of nowhere, you want to speed and all that. If you are not lucky at the wrong time, a policeman could stop you for overspeeding, and you will be charged for breaking that road traffic regulation. So mind your speed when you are driving. Mind you, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you have to take your time to get to your destination. Don't, not just for yourself, but also for your other passengers in the vehicle. And in fact, if you are the only one, you should still be your priority. Then finally, when you are going on such long journeys, please don't forget your license. Make sure your vehicle is duly insured and the roadworthy is also intact. Because in the middle of nowhere, when the police stop you and all these things are not intact, trust me, they are rather going to further waste your time. And you wouldn't want that at all, because this is a long journey driver. This is not like you are in town and it happens. Your license, you should make sure you carry it along. Make sure it is duly renewed, and if it has expired, it has been duly replaced. Your insurance should be intact, roadworthy should be intact. And make sure you have all your safety tools and equipment on you, just in case, like your tire gets burst, you can easily replace it, all that, so that you minimize your chances of getting stranded when you are driving. I hope you found this very educative and useful. Share with your friends and loved ones, like and subscribe. Bye for now. See you soon. And
but the work is done. It always will